Firstly, mate, is objective one like proving the point from last week? Because you didn't perform at Leeds, did you really?
No, I think, I mean, as Mitch rightly said, I think we've had 7 good halves out of 10.
Right.
I thought the second half of Huddersfield was pretty poor, and I thought the whole game against Leeds was poor. Although we were in the game for 20-25 minutes with a 6-4 scoreline, that was down to our defensive resolve, really, rather than a good all-round team performance. And obviously I just feel that the energy drained out of us in the second half because of all the work we had to front load into the game. So we didn't play well last week, so I don't suppose it's about proving a point to others. I think it's about proving a point to ourselves, that we need to up our performance and certainly be a lot better.
Those performances like that more frustrating when you think back to games like a Saints and you dig out wins and you know what you can do.
We spoke about that because it's no good putting in a great effort against St Helens and then an effort that shows great character against Salford and against Hull. You know, we almost turned Hull over here, and then coming up with that at Leeds, because if you're going to be successful in Super League, if you're going to get in the top half of Super League, you've got to be reasonably consistent. And we don't want to be a team who are known for inconsistency. You know, where fans turning up and say, well, which Wakefield is it going to be this week? We want to be a team that regularly plays well, and we feel if we regularly play well that we'll accrue enough points to achieve the objectives of the season.
Do you feel like the Saints game and Salford game are more like a true reflection of what you are, or are you still discovering as a team which one you are?
Yeah, we're still discovering things about ourselves, yeah, but I think that is a true reflection of us, but I think we're still evolving and developing as a team and getting comfortable with each other as a team, because we've had some enforced changes, we've had some changes that we've selected, and with some lads who yet haven't played. And I've always been a great believer, no matter which club I've been involved with, the team that you start the season with is very rarely the team you end the season with, and that's part of the evolution of the group, and it's part of the fascination of being a player, a coach, a fan, or whatever. And I still think we've got a lot of growing to do and a lot of improving to do, and that's a heartening thing for us on the coaching staff.
Yeah, and I guess we're not too far away from the Easter period coming up, which I guess is when having a big squad, having the depth, pays off, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I fully expect that by the game after Easter, that everybody will have appeared for us who are fit and able, and because I just think that's inevitable. There'll be bumps, there'll be bruises, there'll be lapses in form, and obviously you have to use your squad, and I think that's one of the reasons Wigan have been so successful in recent years, and one of the reasons really they've got to be favourite for the title this year, because they're young kids. The change players, and if you didn't read the programme you wouldn't think there's any difference, and that's credit to them, and we're aspiring to do something similar here.
So the message at the moment is to the lads who've got the shirts, basically prove it that you're undroppable, basically.
Yeah, it is, yes, it is. I think, one of the players who's been really good this year has been Scott Griggs. Yeah. And I'm certain that although he's, shall we say, a senior player within the group, he's fully aware that there's a really gifted individual waiting in the sidelines for his opportunity. Scott got the jump on him because of Max's shoulder injury. Yeah. And Scott sees that, and perhaps he felt he had a little dip against Leeds, but for the previous 4 games he'd have been in our top 3 performers consistently. So he's really responding to that, but I'm pretty excited that when Max gets his chance, for whatever reason, that his challenge then is to keep Scott out, and that's why you want a big squad with lots of potential.
Just a quick one on Chris, really. After the Leeds game, he seemed really sort of downhearted and stuff after the performance and that. Is part of your job, did you always have to sort of pick Chris up as well as the players?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've got a few years on Chris, haven't I? And I think that you can tell that by, I coached him when he was on an elite sort of schools programme, so that's a long time ago, and obviously I've worked with him at Wigan, I've worked with him at Hull, with Chris being a player, me being on the coaching staff. So yeah, I get on well with him, and obviously I could pick him up when he's down, and perhaps just offer a more level, because coaching's, it's a roller coaster, and what you've got to do is realise you're going to have some 9s out of 10s, but you're going to have a fair few 1 out of 10s as well, and you've got to try and be realistic. And what was that poem? You know, you treat victory and defeats in the same manner, and I think that's what you've got to do. You know, you can enjoy the wins, but you've also got to be realistic and think, well, if we don't do something similar next week, we might be tasting defeat. And when you've had your defeat, you need to learn from it and pick it up and try and then pick it up to a win. But I think you've got to try and maintain a stability of emotion in order to cope with the job, because otherwise you can lose your head, it'll send you mad.
Do you feel like all the players buy into that mentality to know that they won't be playing necessarily all the time?
I'm hoping so, yeah, but we'll soon find out, you know. But I would be really disappointed as well if a player wasn't upset at being left out. I mean, Liam Finn was very upset last week, but Liam Finn's a very, very good professional, and he copped it on the chin. And I think when Liam gets the opportunity, he'll certainly try to ensure, he'll do a Scott Grips and try to ensure that we can't leave him out. So, you know, and that's the reaction you want. You want disappointment, but you also want a positive reaction, the fact that, right, I'll continue to train really well, I'll continue to be focused on my job, but when I get that opportunity, I'll make sure that these blokes can't leave me out again.